Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Sistas, Season 7, Episode 2. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like and share this video. You can also subscribe to my channel if you are not subscribed. Welcome or welcome back, and you can leave your comments below. Interesting episode, and I'm a little bit confused at some of the reactions to last night's episode, and I'll ask the questions here, and maybe we'll feel the same or not. Let me know. All right, so we'll start where we ended off on last week's episode, and that is Penelope seeing Gary or catching Gary in the act of masturbating with Andy's panties. So she's going off and saying that you're obsessed with Andy. And then, of course, it's no. Oh. It's not like that. Oh, Penelope, I think Andy called for them to ask if everything was okay. And Penelope said yes. And then they're both leaving out of the room, which is kind of weird because if this is my house, I'm going to get up and see what's going on. Because especially if you guys are too quiet in my house. Just my opinion. Anyways, they ended up both leaving, and she made an excuse. I think that Gary gonna say had something to do with Andy's cooking, and I forgot to clap back, but whatever. They get into this elevator, and Penelope goes off even more. At this point, Gary says, "Oh, this is a normal thing for guys. It's not strange for guys to want to get off in some type of way." What type of manipulation and crazy people some of you ladies get with? I don't get it. It's crazy. I know that he's able to love bomb you and give you the greatest lives and furnish your homes and things of that nature. Is it really worth it in the end? But basically he says that, well, you won't give me any sex, so I have to do something, so it's your fault. I said, you're gonna turn this around on this pregnant woman that obviously you have been emotionally and mentally abusing. But you've been doing it to all your other women. And it looks like she's been still staying cool and calm. Surprised that Jasmine, there hasn't been another Jasmine in your life. Because you are crazy. And you keep getting all these chances. And the only thing that's really saving you is your wealth. Oh, what we discover later, there's something else that's saving you too. So anyways, we leave from there. We go back to Danny and Karen. Sabrina. Asking Danny, just encouraging her to go to therapy. Danny has all these resistance, as she always is. Sabrina's trying to poke around, does this have something to do with Preston leaving? She's like, what? No, it's not. But anyways, Sabrina's like, it would be great to go to therapy because they could pinpoint your problem. Any problems that you do have. You're not just having these type of dreams for no reason. All right, so Sabrina leaves because Danny is saying no. Then we move on to Gary. He winds up at Hayden's home and says that I'm staying with you tonight because you owe me. Because what he said he wasn't going to stay. He told Penelope he wasn't going to stay home after trying to gaslight and manipulate her. Hayden gives in. He does talk about him and Penelope breaking up. And Hayden's like, aren't you guys getting married? And he said, no, I just bought that ring just to buy me time. I said, wow. This man gets worse. I remember how he was in the first and second seasons. But my God. Then Gary starts talking about Jordan. He wants to take him down and wants Hayden to help him. And Hayden said, look, if you haven't been effing with my woman or did something to me personally, I want no parts of it. Good, Hayden, just stay out of that mess. All right, Zach and Fatima. Fatima makes Zach breakfast. They sit down and talk. Zach made breakfast. Never mind. He opens up that he wants to start a trust for Michael and also for Zach Jr. And Fatima's like, Zach Jr., what? Isn't it a little bit too soon for you to be wanting to prepare something for a baby that's not even here? And Zach said, no, you can do it as early as you want to. Fatima's like, well, I think you should get your ducks in a row before you start doing all this. And Zach's like, well, what's up? You were all for it when it was Michael, but now with this one, you have some issues about it. Um, Fatima and them, they kind of go back and forth, but she just basically says, anywho, make sure that you're at the meeting at 11 o'clock to meet with Andy to prep for arbitration. All right, so at the office, Andy and Hayden, they meet up. Hayden asks, what's up with Gary, blah, 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 blah. He slept at my house. And she's like, really? Like, yeah. He says that him and Penelope have beef. He also, I think he said that Gary said that Penelope is he did, called Penelope a fat, insecure bitch. I said, my God. Andy said, I knew something was up with them. He is the king of code switch. Hayden just feels like, but Andy's like, how come you hanging around him? You're friends with him. It's like, no, I'm not friends with him. Like, I don't even know what he does for a living. I forgot what Andy said he does. But anyways, Hayden feels like that there's something always off about him. He's plotting and planning and scheming. Of course, Fatima comes in and says, is this man bothering you? Blah, 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 blah. I can handle it. And Andy said no. They walk out, and Andy meets with Zach and Fatima for preparation for the arbitration trial. And she just gives words of advice. And then she says, when is the wedding date? And what's the wedding date? Who's getting married? Zach and Fatima. Fatima is not really positive about it. Now, I could see a plot towards the end of the season if they're trying to get married. Fatima saying that she doesn't want to do it. I can see that. But I got to see how this season does unfold. We visit Karen and Pam at her shop. Karen is doing all this work. And Pam saying, no, don't do that. We got to get somebody else to help you. Well, there's some packages that came in from a delivery guy. And the guy, who was very attractive, named Trey, is delivering. Of course, Pam is flirting. He ends up giving his number to Karen in regards to that. So then Karen asks, Pam, what are all these packages? And she opened one, and it's bull sperm. And it's supposed to be some type of product that she's going to be putting in her hair products that's going to make them millions. Sabrina ends up calling Karen, or whichever one, Karen or either vice versa. Karen is asking her because she needs a personal loan. Right now, Karen is roughing it, and she doesn't want anything or need anything from nobody. And it's like you're pregnant, you're starting a new phase in your life. It's probably great to get all the help that you want. I think that at least Zach will be there, even though I don't believe that this is Zach's baby, but I don't know. So I can't really give my expertise on it. So Sabrina's trying to say, do you ever wonder about a future family? You already have a child. Would you like to get married? And Karen's like, I'm just focused on this baby right now. I don't care about no man coming into my life. And I got my business. For some reason, it struck a chord in Sabrina, and we're going to talk about that in a few minutes as to what she has done that I feel is very impulsive and reckless at this point. All right, so Danny's at work, and Tony comes to visit. Danny's talking with a customer. He somehow drops something on the floor and then ends up doing something sexual to her at the counter while the customer's there. Danny does lecture Tony in regards to calling Karen over about this therapy stuff. I'm not doing this. And they go through some banter, and Tony says, hey, why don't you come into my office in about 15 minutes since you want to be stubborn and let me work all that out of you. And of course, he pats her on the butt and then goes. Danny ends up calling Karen and saying, hey, we're going to brunch. And Karen said, no, I don't want to be around a bunch of drunk women. She just doesn't accept the brunch invitation. Sabrina arrives to Maurice's apartment. And he's sitting there on his webcam in all of this leather or pleather and with this whip. Apparently, this type of site is for white men that feel lonely and secure and all this good stuff. And Maurice gonna say, this is for reparations. um, they talked for a few minutes. Was there anything really productive? Sabrina got some purple cuffs from him. She was looking for another dress, and she hadn't seen it for a while. But I don't know. It wasn't really productive, but that little funny scene. All right, so it's brunch time. Andy feels like Jordan is making her a sex addict. And Danny said, "Oh, you were already that." And they want to say, "What do you mean? I mean, you had Gary, and his thing was Donkey Kong." So they asked Andy, "Is it bigger than Gary's?" And Andy said that, dude, Jordan, he has no problems in that department. So he said, so then Danny gonna say, "I guess that thing is up in your stomach." Um, and then they do a little cheer, a cheer to inches and thickness. I said, "Oh my lord." Oh my lord. All right, Karen shows up, but she never goes to the table, and none of the ladies notice that she's there. I think because Fatima was there, that she probably felt uncomfortable. Um, the question is asked to Danny, "How is Tony?" And about this whole therapy situation. She's like, "I don't really like that he did this and said this to me." Fatima opens up and says that, she goes to therapy because Danny was trying to say, I can't relate to an old white man and I'm telling him my business on the couch. And Fatima said, "Well, I have a black therapist who is a woman, Carisha, and she's really helped me out." Da, 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 da. At this point, now Danny has warmed up and is open to it, I guess, knowing that there would be a black person. And then she asks, "Is the therapist going to be, Carisha, going to be upset if I blow some trees?" And she said, "No, she'll probably join in with you." So now Danny is open to giving it a try. Then I think Sabrina starts talking about, marriage and children. How do you guys feel about that? Um, Fatima says, "I do want two children of my own. Right now, I'm dealing with two possible children." And then Danny and Fatima just see each other a lot. And basically they said, "Well, I think probably you still need to get a blood test." And they say, "Yeah, because there's Michael and Zach Jr. They don't know that Fatima is talking about Karen in this whole situation. I think Danny does, but don't want to say nothing about it. All right, so then after brunch, Tony comes by. Oh no, Danny goes home and Tony's there watching the game. And she finally just lets him know that, "I'm going to give therapy one time and to see how it is." And they end up having sex. All right, so Sabrina and Rich comes over. Sabrina automatically starts bringing in here about marriage and family. Rich's views is that he doesn't really want children and he doesn't want to get married. His conception of marriage is not where it's at anymore and would like to have more of a life partner. Sabrina basically was thinking, "Oh, I could change your mind," but she's drunk too. But then she says, "Let me have your sperm." And then she gets ready to go have sex. But Rich is on the couch like, "Huh, what's going on?" Obviously, that is not his future. You two are on different paths right now. I'm trying to understand where this impulsiveness comes from, Sabrina, because you just had this thought and just wanted to jump full speed ahead. It didn't make sense as to how you're acting, at least in this episode. Um, Andy and Jordan, they talk a little bit. They're at home. Jordan says that he's been endorsed by the mayor and also secured a top leading publicist with this campaign. So they end up having sex. All right, so I think Zach and Fatima come home, and she wants to talk to Zach about getting a paternity test. And Zach's like, "What?" They end up going back and forth about the whole situation a little bit. Oh, Zach was about to go to the gym and all that. Zach feels like the baby is his. And he doesn't feel like that there is no reason to have a DNA test. I think in his mind, Zach right now is like, "I'm ready to become a father. I'm ready to take on responsibility. And that's just that." For some reason online, people think that Zach is choosing Karen over Fatima. It's like, no. In his mindset, it's like, this is my responsibility. I'm financially able, and now I'm mentally getting prepared to take care of children. And that's just not in his mind. Some people question it because of why they don't want to have a paternity test, or why they want to have a paternity test done, is because they don't want to have a father, or they're not ready to be a father and don't want to be the father. I think that Zach will come down from Cloud 9. I think that he's moved into a different phase, and I just want to take care of these children. That's in my mind frame, my set. So Zach ends up leaving and all that good stuff. The last scene of this episode is with Gary. His partner comes in and says that all these investors are pulling out of their money. They're not seeing their money being invested in one of those companies. They feel like it's a Ponzi scheme, which it has been with Gary. So basically, Gary tells him, wash your computers, get rid of all files. He leaves out the room, the assistant does, and then Hayden calls him. And Hayden calls him and tells him that the FBI is looking for him. And that's the end of the episode. It looks like Gary is in hot fire, and hopefully he gets burned to a crisp. But interesting episode as to how things are going. The only person I really have a question mark over is Sabrina right now. And what's really causing this? Is it because Calvin up and left, and you're just in a rush to get everything today? I don't know what it is, but please leave your thoughts below. Do you think that Zach is being selfish right now and putting Karen first? Or do you just think that Zach is in a father mode? That's where his mentality is. Please let me know below. Tell me your predictions about Gary too. Again, I do appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like and share. You can subscribe and also leave your comments below. Until the next video, peace.